Nutrition with me, Coach Adamir. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really appreciating the support and the feedback I'm getting from you guys. I'm really looking forward to today's topic, why social media is holding you back. As you can probably tell, this isn't necessarily a fitness or nutrition topic, so I know this may seem a little off subject, but what I want you guys to know is part of my goal is to also discuss topics that many of us may struggle with, whether it be emotional, mental, personal goals, business goals, work goals, anything that you're dealing with in life, anything that we're struggling with. I want to discuss these topics as well, so that we can maybe try to help each other out along the way, right? Give you strategies that I've gone through, maybe things that I've dealt with that you're going through now, or vice versa. Just so we can all try to be better and try to help each other out as much as we can. So for today, we're going to take a little sidestep from the typical topics of fitness, get into more of the personal growth side. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you can take something out of it, and let's get to it. Yes, comparing yourselves to others, we all know it can lead to negative results. It can make us feel down on ourselves. And I'm not just talking about your physical appearance. I'm talking about your goals, your mental health, your emotional health, your status, things like that. And if you start to see things in a different way, where you're comparing yourselves to others and looking at others' lives and thinking that yours isn't as great, it's going to play a huge part in how you approach your life. If there's someone you're comparing yourself to physically, then you're going to approach your workouts a certain way. You may feel like you're never going to attain it, so you may not even try to work out, right? You may not even try to change your eating habits because you're like, oh, that's just too hard. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to achieve that, all right? And it also gets in the way of building better habits, which is what's going to take root and really help change your life, right? Building better habits, right? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Now, I think we all know how discouraging it can be when we see people on social media that we would like to look like or be like, or have the status they have the stuff they have, travel the world the way they do, or live in a big, huge house, or have nice cars. Or maybe you don't want something as extravagant, but their life is what you want, and you either are not there yet, or you feel like it's unattainable. So it gets discouraging because you see, man, why can they have it? I work hard, I do this, I do that. So as great as social media has been for us, and obviously, yes, it's a great tool, and I think it can be used properly as long as you balance it. So with all the benefits that there is of it, there's also some negativity to it, right? I don't know if you knew this, but scrolling for just 7 minutes, less than 10 minutes, can have negative effects on your mental health, right? If you think about it, we're seeing a lot of people on there, they're traveling, or they have a nice body, or they have a beautiful home or beautiful cars, whatever. If you're at work and you're seeing these things and you're depressed at work, it's going to make you even more depressed. I'm pretty sure we've all experienced that. I think we all know what I'm talking about. One thing that's also crazy, and I hate it. I hate thinking this, and it just makes things worse. Studies have found that women who posted selfies reported feeling more anxious, less confident, and less physically attractive within 2 minutes of posting the picture. That's crazy. It's like you post it because you think you look nice, and then as soon as you post it, you're just like, oh, I'm going to get all these comments, so I don't feel as pretty anymore. That sucks. It's not something you want to have to feel. You're the only person that matters, right? I think it's really important to realize that. The only person who needs to matter on how they make you feel about yourself is yourself. There's no one's opinion that matters besides your own. All right? If you feel like you look sexy, then you're probably looking really sexy today. Okay? Don't let other people's opinions of you change how you feel. All right? I'm not saying it's easy. All right? It's easier said than done, of course, but I can vouch for how beneficial it is when you start seeing yourself in a positive light. I've seen it in my own life personally. I've seen it in clients' lives when, they start feeling better about themselves and stop worrying about how they look so much and start realizing how much better they feel based on the work they've been doing. Okay? So see yourself in a positive light. Affirm, positive things in your mind so that you feel good throughout the day, and you can go about your life without feeling so negative or depressed, or like you're not as good as the next person. All right. Now, I think one thing we can all agree on, social media can definitely mess with us if we let it, right? There's so many things on there that we see, and we just kind of mindlessly scroll sometimes, and it just gets ingrained into our subconscious, and over and over and over and over again, it can start messing with us. It can start making us feel more anxious, feel more depressed, feel like we're not doing enough, or we're not enough, or that we don't have enough. It makes us forget about what we really do have in our lives. Um, One thing I notice, especially in my line of work, is comparing yourself to how people look on Instagram or Facebook, just social media in general, the pictures they post, the videos people post. Um, it seems like body image is the most important thing when it comes to creating a healthier lifestyle, and that couldn't be further from the truth. But we have so much of that bombarded into our feeds that we think the only way to feel good physically is to look that way. And we got to be careful with that. We got to realize that social media and what people post isn't real life. There's filters, there's editing, there's lighting, everything. Okay. um, what we have to do is, instead of letting social media dictate how we feel, we have to build better social relationships, um, physically, like not on social media, not your friends list, people that you can actually talk to, text, call, in-person conversations, your friends, neighbors, coworkers, family. Those are the people in your life that you really need to keep close, so that they, in a sense, influence how you feel, because the people around you, the people that love you, are going to be honest with you and tell you, positive things to make you feel good, so that you don't get so down on yourself, right? If you're working hard and your best friend tells you, hey, I noticed you look a little slimmer. Great, thank you. I've been working hard, or hey, I noticed you've been, putting in extra hours at work and getting a little more things done. There's a promotion coming up. I'm going to put your name in for a consideration. Great. Those are the things that you need in your life to really influence how you feel, not what you see on social and think that you have to be like that. You just go do your best, be your best, and good things will happen without you having to compare yourself to others. All right, comparison is the killer to success. All right, um, and that, comparison is, it's a common thing. We all do it. There's a social comparison theory, right? We look to others for reference. If we don't measure up, we talk down to ourselves, and it's human nature to, right? Especially to our past selves. We're kind of mean to ourselves in that sense. If we don't live up to what we think we need to be, then we talk down to ourselves. So we have to be careful with that as well, comparing ourselves to other people, because we end up being mean to ourselves, saying that we're never going to be like those people. All right. And sometimes we even compare ourselves to people we have zero connection to. They're just in our social media feed, right? There's celebrities, Instagram influencers, athletes, people that, just post and post and post. And like, we don't even know them. They don't even know you. They don't even care about you. And yet you're sitting there comparing yourself to that person. Um, it's it's unfortunate that we do that, but I think it's important to realize that that's happening, so that we can monitor and adjust our behaviors, so that we don't continue to go down that path. All right. So there's a couple things we can do to beat that comparison game. One thing that I'll say, especially when it comes to fitness, nutrition, anything like that, is focus on actions, not outcomes, right? People have goals like, I want to bench 300 pounds. I want to run a 6-minute mile. I want a size 4 waistline. Things like that. Those are very common goals that I think most people can easily think of. But from my experience, that gets pretty tough, because you don't know how your body's going to respond, right? If you want to bench 300 pounds, I'll take me for example. I probably physically can, but I won't. That's just painful for my shoulders, and I'm not going to do that. So that's not really an attainable goal for me because then I'm just going to hurt myself. All right. Or a 6 minute mile. If you're not used to running or you haven't ran in a long time and you have lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, maybe running a 6 minute mile isn't a good idea. Right. If it's going to cause pain, what's the point? Right. So you got to think about your actions versus the outcome. Right. Goals are great, but they have to be achievable. All right. Otherwise, it gets very discouraging. So when it comes to habit-based goals, if I want to, okay, let's say I want to bench heavy weight. 300 pounds is pretty heavy for me. Maybe I don't need to bench that much weight. So instead of doing that, what if I just strength train chest 3 times a week at a certain weight, add reps, and just continuously do that so that I build overall strength, right? It's habits and actions, not outcomes. Because at the end of the day, I may be able to bench 300 pounds, but I don't need to. I've been benching 3 times a week. I'm strong. I'm good. It's fine. Right? Other habit-based goals you can do that can change, especially in your nutrition, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to change your eating habits, add protein at every meal. A lot of us don't necessarily have protein at every meal, and that can come in the form of a lot of things: beans, chicken, spinach, protein powders, oatmeal, eggs, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be like red meat or anything. Habit goal: exercise 2 to 3 days a week for at least 30 minutes. If you don't do that already, start doing that. Make it a habit. And then all those other goals about losing weight or having less knee pain when I go up the stairs or having less low back pain, those will be a byproduct of these habits that you create. Have at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day. You're going to feel healthier. You're going to get all those vitamins and nutrients. You're going to feel full longer. Your body's going to feel better. You're going to start to reject food that you don't want to eat or that you don't need to be eating. And you're just going to naturally feel healthier and lose weight. Right? That's a habit. Eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and everything else will naturally fall into place. All right? Following actions over results is going to help build longer lasting results and is way more sustainable. Right? If we build these habits over time, and then we lose the weight, you're going to keep it off. Right? You're not just going to revert back to your old pre losing weight days. If you lose 20 pounds because you've been eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day, you think you're going to stop doing that? Probably not. You're going to keep doing that. You've created a habit, and now it's just second nature, and you're going to keep the weight off. All right? So, once you get to that size 4, or once you get to that 5-minute mile, what's next? Right? You're not going to go to a 4-minute mile. Most of the time, you'll stop there. And if you haven't developed the habits to keep those goals, you're just going to go back to your old ways. And that's not what we want. All right? Another thing you can do is put things in perspective every single day. We look at social media every day, probably a few times a day for minutes, maybe hours at a time, depending on how much time you have in the day. So we got to remember that we always got to put things in perspective. Right? It's easy to obsess on the things we don't like about ourselves, and most of it takes up just way too much space in our minds. So we got to focus on what's good in our lives. If we focus on the negative over and over and over again, that's the only thing you're going to have time to think about. The only thing you're going to have energy to think about. And that's not what you should be doing with the beautiful brain you have there to create so much positivity. If you focus on the good in your life, you can decrease the amount of negative thoughts that are taking up that space. All right, and the easiest way to do that, journaling. Right? If you don't know what to write, if you don't know how to start, here's a couple examples. 3 things you're grateful for. You wake up in the morning, you open your journal. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful I have a shower. I'm grateful I have coffee. Boom. It doesn't need to be this in-depth, I'm grateful for, I can't even get in depth that quickly. All right, it needs to be easy, right? If you're trying to build a new habit, it needs to be easy. So 3 things you're grateful for, simple. right? 3 things you're excited about for the day. 3 things you love about yourself. 3 things you want to accomplish today, right? Just simple things. 3 things you're proud of in your life. All right? It doesn't need to be crazy, just nice and simple. Focus on the good in your life, and more good will come. And that'll help when you start seeing things on social media where you're like, oh, this person has, the car I want. Oh, okay, well, think about well, I have this car. I'm grateful for the car that I have. And you start seeing things in a different light. You start not caring about what that person has because you realize I have so much abundance in my life. I'm just not paying attention. All right. Other thing you can do, eliminate your comparison triggers. When it comes to fitness, a lot of people like to go real hard right away, real fast, and it sucks because it's discouraging, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna go take spin class, and either you do a Peloton or you go to the gym, and you say, I want to really do this, so I'm gonna take the most advanced class, but you don't make it through. What's the more common thing that's gonna happen after that? You may not want to come back. It's discouraging, right? So don't compare yourself to someone who's been doing this for 8 months to a year and you just started. You're like, oh, why can't I do this? Because you just started. Don't compare yourself, right? And stop trying to do diets that leave you feeling guilty if you're inconsistent. Right? Life is inconsistent. Things are going to ebb and flow. They're going to go up and down. Your diet may change. Don't follow a diet that's going to make you feel bad if you fall off a little bit. It goes back to building habits over these actions or these outcomes, right? Focus on the action. Weight loss challenges with coworkers and friends, those are great. Those are helpful. You have a little support group. That being said, those can also be discouraging. You may have different things going on in your life than your coworkers do that makes it easier for them to follow the workout plan, to follow the diet plan. You may have kids who are like, no, I don't want to eat this. Then it makes things really difficult because then it's like, okay, now I have to cook 3 different meals. Or you can be that parent and say, no, everyone's following this diet plan and we're all doing it together. That's one way to help yourself and encourage yourself. All right, get other people to follow and help you. So yeah, don't put yourself in situations where you're comparing yourself to more advanced things that are way out of your reach. All right, don't take that advanced yoga class if you've never taken yoga before. Okay? All right, eliminate social media triggers, right? So what that means is we're talking about not comparing yourself to people on social media. Social media is supposed to bring us a little bit of joy, see things that we like. So if you see on your feed and you're looking through and you have people you're following that every time you see a picture they post or video, something, you have a negative reaction or a negative thought, maybe don't follow that person anymore. They're not adding any real value in your life, so why are we following them? There's a lot of things that we don't need to be seeing in our feed. We have control over what we see, and we're continuously putting things that are constantly bringing us down, making us depressed, making us feel less of ourselves. Unfollow, right? It might be tough to be like, oh no, I don't want to unfollow. They don't care. I'm pretty sure they don't care. I don't know if they do. That's fine. They're not adding anything to you. You don't need to be constantly reminded of something that is bringing you negativity. All right? The other thing you got to realize is, and we've all known this, social media is a highlight reel. No one's really posting the bad stuff that's happening in their life. And if they are, more power to them. Great. They're being transparent, and that's the side of them that they want you to see. Great. But we don't see that very often. And when we do, it's refreshing, of course. Like I said previously, we all know that filters exist, editing exists, cosmetic surgery exists. There are things that people who post on social media we can't achieve because they have different resources. And that's not real life. That's not an attainable thing by, you and me, by regular life and just living in consistency by building better habits. All right. One thing I'll tell you: create a supportive social circle. Share struggles with people in your life that have gone through the same thing or are maybe going through the same thing as you right now. It's it's really easy when you have someone that's vulnerable with you. Um, I know it's tough, of course, to be vulnerable, but it makes life so much easier when you can follow along that same path with someone and you're not knowing you're not alone. Especially if you have, close friends, close family, a coach, a trainer. If you have a partner, talk to your spouse, right? Let them know the struggles that you're dealing with so that they can share it with you, so that they can help you in that struggle. Um, that's all we really need: supportive social circle, not social media. All right, we need social circles. We need social relationships. All right. Um, just a couple things here, you guys. Focus on things that bring you joy and happiness. If you like to go hiking, if you like to golf, if you like to garden, if you like to paint, go do those things to bring you that joy, to bring you that happiness. Social media is a tool for us to use for other things. It's not meant to bring us joy or happiness. All right, so cut back your social media time. Try not to do it in the morning as soon as you wake up, right? As soon as you wake up, your brain's like, oh, waking up from restful sleep. Why are you going to look through social media and start seeing things that you may start comparing yourself to? Or you see something that someone posted that's really depressing. That's not good either, right? So stick to social media during the day, maybe on your lunch break, maybe twice a day, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Now, if that's what you do for work, whole different story. You need to learn how to balance that. I've had to learn how to balance that. So, just focus on the things that bring you joy and happiness. Seek help, you guys. Role models, good friends, people in your life that are living a life full of joy and gratitude, and they try to live life positively. Look to those people. Talk to those people. Ask them for help. Ask them how they do it. Ask them how they're able to stay so positive, right? People ask me a lot, how are you so positive? How can you stay so, cheery? I don't know. I know bad things happen and life isn't perfect and there's always going to be struggles, but, at the end of the day, it's the experience that we're all going through that makes this such a beautiful life. So, yeah, just remember that, you guys. Seek help, seek some role models, and just remind yourself that you can do better every single day. All you have to do is be 1% better. Okay, you don't need to be the next IG influencer. You don't need to be the next hip hop artist. You don't need to be the next anything. You just need to be you, and you just need to be 1% better than you were yesterday. All right, so stop comparing yourself to the people on social media that really don't give a shit about you. Sorry to say that. Sorry to burst your bubble. The only people that give a shit about you are your family, your friends, and the people that you talk to all the time. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. That's all I have for today. I really hope you learn to only compare yourself to yourself and that you realize social media is just a tool, not reality. If you think someone needs to hear this, please share this with them. Tag me on Instagram or Twitter at Coach Adamir. I really appreciate the support. And then make sure you hit like and subscribe for the podcast, whether it's on Spotify or Apple. That way you always know when new videos are up. Okay, they'll be coming out every Monday, weekly. So next week we will be talking about nutrition again. Okay, so we'll be cycling through fitness, nutrition, and I guess lifestyle, wellness, personal growth, whatever. But I hope that this is helpful for you guys, and I hope that I just bring valuable information as much as I can. So, as always, you guys, love yourself. Go be the best version of yourself. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.